No, that's okay then. Don't worry about it.
These are my first purchase.
Bye, kitty.
Here's a kitty. Hi friends, today we will work on the vessels that I thrifted last September. We will try to make them look aged like this. Here are some inspiration. If you want to try this, here are the things I used. Drywall compound, rubber gloves, moss, some soil, chili flakes, pumpkin powder, and some spices that are expired from my pantry. I will work on these 3 bigger vessels. The 2 are over 2 feet and the smaller one is 2 feet tall. The joint compound is already pre-mixed, so you don't have to add water or anything like that. I just started applying it on the jar, about 1 centimeter thick or even thinner. This is the first jar, so my approach is to apply in sections, and then I will try to distress or age them as I go, because I was scared that the compound might dry quickly. So here I started with some soil. I'm just patting them on the compound and just adding in some of the spices that I have. The first one is always the guinea pig. So I learn as I go. Here I'm adding some of the chili flakes. I'm patting them in there so they will stick. This is how I approached this first one, and as you will see on the second and third, I did a different approach as I learned. Here I'm also applying some powdered moss, because you know, vessels when they are outdoors, they also get mossy, dirty from the elements and all that stuff. So I'm just mimicking how jars or pots age when they are left alone outdoors. There is no right or wrong approach in doing this. I just played with it. I added cinnamon, some spices like dried basil or those stuff that I have on hand. Because of the shape of this first vessel, I thought I will put a handle on it like this. So I brought out my clay and fashioned a handle for the jar. This is an air dry clay, so it will dry as the rest of the compound dries as well. So I didn't measure, nothing like that. I just eyeballed as usual. The eyeballer me. I just hope it's centered. Now there are the handles. I will just try to remember when they are done not to carry this jar by its handle. Carrying on with the joint compound until this jar is all covered with it. I covered until the lip of the jar and a little over. Basically just covering all the pink on the vessel. And then I worked on distressing or aging it further. I just played with it until I was satisfied with how it looked. This jar has a neck, and I thought the neck needs to be distressed or aged as well to really achieve that look. So I brought out my brush and patted on some more soil on the neck and added moss and all that stuff. So I added more distressing and all my materials to places where they would normally collect when they are out in the wild. So to me, this is done. So one down, two more to go. For the second one, I learned that the joint compound doesn't dry that quickly. So my approach on this is to cover the whole thing with the joint compound and then distress it at the end. I also covered a few inches down the throat of this vessel so that it will look authentic and the pink color, original color, doesn't show. The vessel is all covered with joint compound. Now it's time to play and age or distress it. This is cinnamon powder. This is sand. I bought it from the thrift store a while back. I knew I had it, so I brought it out and used it in this project. I thought this is the perfect time to incorporate some sand. So on all three, I used different materials to age them. They are not exactly the same. So again, just play with it, and when you're happy, you stop. The second one is done. Moving on to the third one. Like I said, this is a learning process. So on the second one, I learned that it was hard to apply the compound on the throat of the vessel because you don't have a place to hold on and apply pressure. Otherwise, you move all those compound as you go. So here, I got short on my joint compound, so I brought out my dry decks. It's also a joint compound, but it was dry, so I tried to mix water. It was crumbly, but I guess it added to the texture of this third vessel. So I didn't mind that it wasn't smooth as the other one. So again, I played with it, and I also like how it turned out. At this point, I'm making a lot of mess. This is best done outdoors, but it's still winter for us, so I'm doing it in my kitchen. Here is the aftermath, all the mess and all that stuff. So all those spices I'm no longer using in my kitchen. I'll just use it in projects like this. Here is the final look of the third jar. Like I said, all three of them were distressed differently. I used more on some, I used less on some, I used sand on one, all that stuff. So here is a closer look on the second one. They were not completely dry when we left the cottage, so I will give you an update when we get back next weekend. And the first jar, and this is the third one. So friends, I hope you like this video. I hope that you will try it with anything that you have in your house that you want to distress or age, like this. So the joint compound was, I think, $30 something. That was the cheapest among all of them that I found in the store. And all the other materials were negligent in price. So, and the vessels were like $18 for the 5, so say $12 for these 3. So in less than $50, I made all these 3 big vessels. So yes, thank you again, and bye-bye.